I guess I'm the only one here. Lol. So I'm taking over the stream, I guess. Welcome, welcome. My name is Matt German. You guys know me as the Little Fame Maker, Little Fame Master, some people call me, or Little Fame Guru. Yeah. Don't know really. I just was invited to the show and all of a sudden the host is gone. Hey, how are you, Texan?
I am tired, but very pleased right now because I'm finally moved out of the old house.
All right, cool. What was wrong with the old house?
I sold it.
Nice.
All
I've
right.
been trying to sell it for a while. Finally got it sold, and I'm in my new house right now, which I'm really excited about. But I've got a lot of unboxing to do.
Right.
Well, you should live stream it if you do an unboxing.
Right. Here's an unboxing. Ambrosia filament from West 3D. Ambrosia PETG.
No, I had to take over your stream for a second because you
That's
were
fine.
gone.
I love to do that to people. It's
Thank you.
it's fun because I get to see how someone on not their own stream reacts to being the first person everyone sees on stream.
Well, I guess I corrected. I hope I was correct.
It's fine. I love seeing it though. It's fun. It messes with people and it throws people off their standard. I'm just in a stream. You know.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, last week I had both of my AMS units broke in one day, and I was doing a very important charity project. It had like 6 or 7 days left, and I was panicking. And well, some people helped me out, and I got some spare parts, etc., to fix one of them. But it still left me doing. I couldn't do experiments like create STL files and then test them before I actually print them and then, mass produce them, and then give them to the charity. Because,
What turned out to be wrong with the AMSs?
one was I need to get some Bowden tube I need to buy. So I needed to replace the Bowden tube in one of them. That was the easiest part.
Capricorn.
And the other one, it makes a very bad grinding noise.
Jeez.
So, and it must be the wheel inside and the back of it. There's inside there's a hub, a 4-split hub, and there's a little wheel on it, and right there it makes noise. So they're sending me a new wheel. Hopefully that will fix the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been doing lots of stuff. Here you go. It's just some of the stuff I created for the charity.
Nice.
It's for the Royal British Legion for veterans.
Yeah.
So make one of them. Basically, your Veterans Day, we just had it on the 11th. Yeah, made a Spitfire.
Right. Well, I'm building another Trident.
Another.
I got lost.
What size?
350. DFH.FM had a deal.
That's small.
A Sunday ago, 2 Sundays ago, $1,000 for the 350 Trident, a ton of stuff, and an ERCF 12 cart kit, which I may or may not use. But look, Rob Mink.
Hey guys.
Yo,
Howdy.
Captain coming to Rocky Mountain guy.
Yep.
Nice.
How are you doing, Rob? I mean, I hope you got some deer steaks out of it.
No. The vulture stripped it before I was out of the hospital.
Oh, what a shame.
I was in there for 3 days, so
How's the healing?
It's doing better. My shoulder is still really sucks. I forgot that I was hurt really, and I went to check the oil in my car and lifted the hood up with my right arm, and it was like, nope.
Rob Mink, do this.
Don't do that.
If I do that, you'll see me on the ground crying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
just
look,
kidding.
spam. Let's see. How do
Sam
I?
Francis?
No,
Huh?
spam in my
Oh,
Twitch
spam.
chat. Hold on, I gotta ban it.
Okay.
Cat, what are you doing? So I'm trying to figure out. Ban. What are you
Yeah, I got to
doing?
get my bird back in the cage. Actually, Justin, I was going to drop in and say, hey, how long do you normally go for? Because I got to get my.
About 2 hours.
All right, because I have to leave in like 5 minutes to get my wife from work.
Well, I'll be here for 2 hours.
Wow, you're up and about already.
Yeah, I've been working and stuff. I got back to work like 3 days after I got out of the hospital. 2 or 3 days after I got out of the hospital.
Yeah, I wanted to contact you, but then I said, no, I'm giving some breathing space.
What were you in the hospital for?
I hit a deer on my motorcycle going 50.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh dear. You must have said oh dear when you hit it too.
Actually, I didn't say anything until I got out of the ditch.
Yeah. Ugh,
Yeah.
Bill. Yeah,
But
Rob, we filled our platinum sponsors in 30 minutes.
Dang.
Yeah, 30 minutes. And we filled it took 48 hours last year.
Wait. The sponsors went out? I didn't get.
I sent the email went out. You're on the list, so unless it went to spam.
He's frozen.
Yep, of course he is.
Me too.
I put your. Well, I'll resend, but
Yeah.
I had
When-
you
when
in
did
there. Monday.
When did that go out? Monday?
What was your email?
IMH?
And he froze again. Ian,
No.
just message me your email in Discord. You're freezing. I don't know if I actually had you on the list, but yeah. So our platinums went in 30 minutes. All of our golds are spoken for in total of 2 days. We have 10 silvers and 2 bronze left.
Oh, I thought you said I got the last bronze.
We found a way to open up 2 more.
Oh, okay.
So we futzed with a little bit in our North Hall, and it's going to be interesting. But the benefit with that is those are maker tables anyway. Those are just reserved. You get to pick the table type thing.
When it all starts, the Rock Festival.
Say that
I didn't
again?
quite catch that, Matt.
When your thing is starting.
It'll be April 20th and 21st.
All right, cool.
So Loveland, Colorado. Website's up and running.
You gonna be there, Rob?
Yep.
He'll be there.
You gonna bring the printer?
Yep. Probably only 1, maybe 2. And I'm just going to bring the printer. I'm going to buy filament there and everything else.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, there'll be filament. I've been talking to all the filament people, and everyone's bringing material that has, except Polymaker.
They don't bring any filament.
They don't sell at shows.
Mm.
They can't because of a whole. I don't know. Polymaker's a weird one. There, Ian, your email has been sent.
What do you mean Polymaker is a weird one? I'm part of Polymaker.
They don't sell at the shows.
Yeah, I get that too.
I don't know why. I leave that up to them. But right now I have 1.
Nick still owes me a T-shirt.
Hold on.
Nick still owes me a T-shirt from last year.
4, 5, 6, 7. Ouch. That hurt.
Sorry.
7 or 8. Jesus. 7 or
what is
8.
that?
Hey. Bearded Bucket. And look, it's Mitch.
Hi, Mitch. I'm gonna
Bearded
mute
Bucket,
myself.
I sent you a link if you want to join, by the way. Love to chat with you. How's Mitch doing? How's the car search going?
I think I found a car that might be.
Yeah, a red
Possible.
Toyota RAV4.
Yeah, that's still out
I
of
thought
budget.
it was one of those old Soviet.
It's another Toyota, but I would like to get a manual transmission car if I can.
For long road trips, that sucks.
No, if you put it in fifth gear and just keep it in fifth gear.
Right.
I drove from Virginia to Connecticut to Goshen and back in a manual transmission car.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks is traffic, and even then, it only sucks if the clutch is heavy.
Yeah.
Right.
My Mini Cooper, the original one I had a pretty heavy clutch for being a small car.
Right.
But like, I've driven other ones that are like really squishy.
Yeah.
I have 7 manual transmission cars. Holy cow.
Well, sell one to Mitch, would you?
Yeah, what do you got?
I've got 3 Datsun 280Zs. I've got a Datsun 510 wagon.
Oh, I'd love a 510. That'd be so much fun. I'm sure
that's
that's your prized one, yeah.
That's my baby. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
2 91 Nissan D21s
Damn.
and a 2009 Scion XB. Those are all manuals.
Well, the XB is what I'm actually looking at. I
They're-
found one.
They're
I
fun
found
cars.
with the replaced engine, apparently.
Right. Yeah, because the 2AZ burns oil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Heard that.
Yeah, I'm not really too fond of the Nissan stuff, but I know that the 280s are really good cars.
Pre-2000 Nissan was good, and they merged
Yeah.
with Fiat or whatever, and they turned it into garbage.
Yeah.
No, Nissan's not owned by anyone, I don't think.
They
Fiat,
merged
Hyundai,
Fiat or Renault or something like that. Some crappy.
Nissan is owned by Renault, Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which
And
is
there's
probably
actually-
going to eventually get owned by Tata, and they're all going to be owned by them.
Well, I don't know if you guys have been following the news, but there's some weird stuff going on with Japan and Renault. Like they put some guy in jail and he like smuggled out in a suitcase and all sorts of stuff.
I heard about that.
What was that?
I heard about that in Japan. The guy was in prison and he smuggled himself out in a suitcase.
We have our
Somebody
good
similar
friend
in South America
Steve from
tried to do
U4.
that.
Hey, Steve.
And Steve
Hey.
is also a sponsor of Rocky Mountain Rep Rat.
That's right.
Super excited. I'm glad you got in when you did because our golds are gone.
Yeah, that was
So
crazy
your
fast.
bronze are going to be gone in like a day, right?
I know. So our platinums went in 30 minutes, our golds in 2 days, pending
Wow.
a couple holds for planning purposes. We have 10 silvers left and 2 bronze.
Wow.
Where I'm going, I don't need a table.
Right. Well, you'll be with Peter anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I-
No, it's nuts. It's wild beyond our wildest dreams.
Yeah.
Well,
I
your
just
tables
replied
are
to that
huge,
email.
so
8-foot tables,
Okay.
yep, and you'll get up to a 20 by 10. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
a space thing where there's some spots where you might end up with a 10 by 10, but you're high enough up on the list, you'll end up with a 20 by 10.
Hey,
good because
Steve,
Ajax and I need the room.
Yeah.
hey, Steve, do you think it would be a good
tripod.
idea to do Hue Forge prints on my backpack printer?
Yes.
I actually 100% think it would be a good idea to do like small ones, right? Like, little flowers.
filament
and stuff.
filament swaps. I would imagine if I have a direct
Ooh.
drive.
Well, let's
Should
just
be okay.
hook up a
Yeah.
pallet and 4 spools. and-
Yeah.
I mean, the hardest
Why
part
not
is
use
needing
bamboo?
more. Well, you'd want like sample pack. You'd want like a sample pack. Of
Yeah,
filament.
I'd have to get
sample
like
spools,
pre-made
250s.
sample amounts and then
Right.
like swap them out. But like somebody would have to swap them out while it's on my back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be like,
really needing a
oh,
print.
it just beeped at me. Can someone please swap my filament for me?
Yeah,
Just have a filament swap person. Just
You should have
walking.
them on a holster. You should be wearing a holster of filament and be like, let me reload.
I thought about doing a pallet too. That would be funny, but that would take forever to splice and
right.
push through.
All
How
right.
about
Hey, Matt, I
bamboo? Hey,
I replied to the email. Make sure you
Yep.
save one of those bronze sponsorships.
I'll send you an invoice and you need to pay it.
I'll pay it. Yeah. No problem.
Okay. I will add it to it.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I gotta go get my spouse. Maybe I'll be back on when I get back if she lets me.
Right.
All right.
Put your foot down. You're the man of the house.
She works 12 hours, but the least I can do is pick her up and cook her dinner and rub her feet for a couple minutes.
Right.
All right.
This is a good attitude.
That's if my shoulder will let me. All righty, guys. But I'll try to hop back in.
Yeah,
He
we'll
will.
be here.
All
See
right.
you later.
Yeah,
So the
gonna
most
be
expensive
wild.
nozzle I've ever bought showed up today.
Yeah.
I
Is
don't know
that
if
the
you can
Revo
see.
Diamondback?
Yep, I got a
Yeah.
diamond.
I saw that at
Yep.
Earth.
Now they need a high flow obsidian
There,
diamondback.
Well, the high flow obsidians are coming.
Yep.
Yeah, but with a diamondback.
Mama, I'll send you a link.
I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do it with the diamondback.
No,
'Cause
not with
the
the
inserts
Diamondback.
are actually made by Diamondback,
Yes.
and then they're
Right.
joined together by E3D.
Right, but the issue would be that like the top where the filament splits wouldn't be able to be diamond because it's too big.
Yeah.
And so
We'll
they have
figure
to
it out.
do like
We'll figure it
obsidian
out.
up top. And if you're going to do obsidian up top, do you really want to do diamond at the bottom? I think.
Well, you should make the entire thing out of
Hey,
a
Roman.
single
Mama,
polycrystalline diamond and
and
That's
send-
yeah.
drilling
They have a
holes
fixed
in the.
size for that, don't they?
Yeah. I don't
Ian,
know.
invoice is sent.
I'm looking at it right now. Well, I'm not looking at the invoice yet. I saw that you replied. I'm still waiting for that invoice.
Yep, give it a sec.
I'll pay it. I'll pay it just the moment it pops into my inbox.
No, you will. And we're working on our marketing for Eventbrite for Facebook and Instagram, and yeah, it's going quick. Let me find that email.
Yeah, because like with Earth, I remember they announced, and I was like thinking about it, and then I said, "Well, let me sign up for a maker table," because at the time there was no HueForge, like there was
Right.
no Horn and Roadie, my company that sells HueForge, and then I started selling, and it was going well. I'm like, "Oh, I should probably upgrade," and so this was months later, and I'm like, "Hey, should I be a sponsor?" And like, "Oh yeah, you should definitely be a sponsor." And then it was no problem. And like now, if you didn't hop on in the first,
Oh
week,
my god, first day,
well,
we
I was
sold
like,
out so fast. It's stupid.
I looked at the platinums, and I'm like, I can afford to do a platinum, but I don't
But
need
do
the
you
space.
need
So
It would have been cool. It would have been really cool to have you as a platinum, but they sold out in 30 minutes. I think you might have been.
I was like an hour and a half, something like
Yeah,
that.
you were far in. I mean, that first
And I
half
was-
hour was wild.
But I looked at it like I couldn't fill,
A 30
the
by
platinum
10.
space. Yeah, there's no way. It's not happening.
You'll
What
do
would be
great
cool
with
is
it.
to have like a whole booth set up to be like an art gallery of
I mean,
HueForge.
that's
Yeah.
basically what they did at Earth.
Yeah.
We tried. Yeah, we the big thing you said you're not doing pipe and drape at Rocky Mount, right? Or are
If you need it, we can supply it. We are not doing it for everyone because the difference between us and Earth and Murph is
Yeah.
Earth's a trade show, Murph's a party.
Right.
It's a hybrid for us. So
Right.
there's going to be a bit of pipe and drape around, but
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how we want to display, and the pipe and drape, literally just the backdrop gave us something to display on. And since I'm flying out, I'm not going to be bringing a ton of stuff.
right.
Mostly just art, so that it'll be like how to display it. And we're gonna do the binders because Ian's binder was fantastic that he brought.
Right.
And we've had a couple of people from my forum who are like, if I can come, I'll bring a binder and leave it at your table and pick it up when I leave. And so there's gonna be some definite options there. We'll put more binders and things, but vertical space was. I would love, as Mitch said, to have it be like a gallery that they can walk through and have HueForge on both sides and just look at them. But I just don't think that there's a space for that exactly. Like trade show. I mean, even though it's in the middle, it's still.
Yeah, it depends. So our layout, I can show a tentative layout. It is not final by any means.
Can I leak it?
No. Well, I mean, yes.
Oh, hey, look at that.
All right, Justin, you got your money.
Nice.
Yep, I saw. I'm sorry. I'm trying to.
This was done in the paint program in Luben.
Oh, you did that in Luben? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to pull the Anker slicer just to see, because people are telling me there's a HueForge like thing in the slicer. I've seen it on their website, but I'm not worried about that one.
Right.
But I want to check to make sure there's nothing in the slicer.
Yeah. I mean, I've shown the layout, but we have two halls.
Yeah.
I'll show the empty
Right.
layout actually. I just need to find it. Ooh, Tripod's here. Another sponsor of Rocky Mountain.
Hey,
Hey, this guy.
That guy.
What's going on, Tripod?
Oh, I knew I was stuck on that email. So
Yep. So this is the empty layout for the venue.
right.
It's going to be, I mean, it's 36,000 square feet. Take Earth and double the space.
wow.
So
Yeah.
it's going to be wild.
Well,
Absolutely wild.
well, the
Both
problem,
halls, the North Hall and South Hall.
Huh?
What?
You're gonna have
I didn't hear
both
that.
halls.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
up.
the problem with Earth is that, you know, I mean, hey, you pay for the space, you get the space. But it was
Yes.
the problem is it was basically like 5 companies in the middle. That
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
the whole space. You know,
Right.
so-
Yeah, it's going to be, so we're using more of an Earth style layout. You might have seen on videos, Tripod, but you know, sponsors around the outside, makers in the center in both halls.
Okay.
And then we'll have a maker lounge, an eating area, and then some other really cool stuff that
Yeah.
we're working on.
It would have been nice if I could afforded the bigger package, but I'm like,
You
silver
know.
is only what I could afford.
Right. I mean, a 10 by 10 for you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could use a 20 by 10,
Nah,
but we are completely sold out of gold, which is insane. In
Yeah.
2 days, like, holy crap!
I was like, I'm going to get in on that because worst case, Ajax goes there by himself and something comes up in my world and I can't go, you know, and
Which is bad.
people bring stuff and drop it off. But we should be able to be there, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think
Have you been able to-
Ian's going to do his best to get out there, but I'm not bringing him out. But he's pretty sure he can
Yeah.
get out.
Well, I mean, you could help him. You know, pay for for the hotel or something. You know?
Yeah.
We're encouraging sponsors that can to help someone get there.
Oh
Even
yeah,
just-
I've already done that today.
Good.
Well,
So-
yeah, I gotta try to get some
Have you
sponsors.
been able
You gotta try
to
to get
get?
Sam over here, Tripod.
What?
Sam may not be coming.
Well,
Oh,
I was talking
oh
with him
no.
because Creality may not be paying for him to come over.
yeah, like I pinged you about that. I'm like, they're always late to the game on everything.
Yep.
So
I told him the golds are basically gone. They can buy a silver. You can't be. If they had even responded to the email, I could have held it for a few days and been like,
I think there'll be other sponsors for
Oh,
him to go.
we're gonna be
Well,
full.
no, I'm talking about for Sam to go. I'm not worried about Sam. I think
No.
he'll go.
Yeah, I'd love Sam to be there, but
Have you been able to get a hold of the guy with the 3D printed Lamborghini?
yes, that vehicle will be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I want to see that too.
I need to put that up on the website. Yeah, it'll be there. We got commitment from him.
That's awesome.
So I would love to get the McLaren there, even at whatever level it's at, but we don't have the space to do both. So it'll be cool. You know, it'll be pretty dang cool. Plus, Tripod's table's going to be where we keep the death racers anyway.
No, no. I was yours, Justin's could be there, but no, it can't be the. If you want to put another table next to me with them all, yeah, that's fine.
Well, yeah, that may be a problem. I do need to make a note of that.
Yeah, because you should. If that'd be pretty cool to have a staging area, but the problem was it like literally.
It became,
it just ate up a lot of my space, and then I had
they're
Maddie's stuff next to me, so it was like
we might
I
have
had
a
no room
spot for it,
at Earth.
right?
The death racers are big. They're bigger than I thought they were.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got one still in the same suitcase from Earth. I haven't taken it out.
Well, I know that Ajax and Adam would always bring theirs back and work on them in between rounds. And we had Mammoth next to us, so they could just set them on the table because there weren't a lot of people manning the Mammoth booth, and so they just set them they started taking over more and more and more of that space. And at one point, one of the Mammoth people came over and said, "Is this your stuff?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're sorry, we'll take it off the table." No, it's okay. We just want to make sure that like we're not messing with it. We're taking our stuff and putting it away. But can you pull it off for a second so we can get our stuff on the table? You can have this table. We're like, oh, okay. But
yeah, I gotta find out which manufacturers I may work with as a sponsor for going there. So we'll see. I gotta get this big laser on here.
Oh, nice.
That's the one that we won. The wife won at Lightburn.
Oh, okay.
That looked like a lot of fun. I wish I could have made it. But
Yeah, it was a good time. It was the thing is it was more of a conference.
it looked like
Yeah.
And the thing is there was no one had clicks and stuff, and no one was in their camps of what it was just because everyone's there for Lightburn. So
Yes.
that's what was, because I mean, I do have my favorites, like I do, but I just don't participate in the drama. So
which makes sense.
yeah. It is, don't get me wrong, it's kind of funny watching everyone go after each other, but
Oh yeah,
so
right.
actually
There are handicap spots right in front of the venue that you can most likely be at, I think. Yeah, they're like right there. Let me pull up a map. Because you technically have the handicap placard, I'm assuming, right?
yeah, I have a handicap placard. That's
So,
one of the reasons why Sam travels with me,
right. Yeah, right.
I only have a certain amount of room, people, so if people go in the bed of the truck if they want.
Right. Let me do a quick present. So that's the hall right there, right?
It looks like a building.
It's a big building. And then there's your handicap spots
Where?
right there.
All of those.
All of
Everything
those.
there is handicapped.
Yeah. Everything right there is a handicap spot.
Except for that one. The one right there is maternity.
Yes. No, it's a gorgeous building.
Yeah, I mean, I heard last year it snowed a little, so
Yeah, a quarter of an inch. But it's kind of hard to see the venue from here, but let me see if I can move down. Yeah. It's hard to see because of the stupid trees, but
well, if the thing is I would think that for Earth next year they needed a different location.
they're talking about staying in the same. And if you're staying at the embassy, book your hotel ASAP.
Where you booked it?
Yep.
It's right.
We booked
freaking
it.
there.
We booked it. No, the wife booked it like 6
Good.
months ago.
Good.
I booked it shortly after Earth.
Good.
I figured it was easy enough to cancel if I needed to, and
Yeah, that's what she did. She has like Expedia or something, where it's free
Yeah.
cancellations.
Right.
The day
Yep.
before.
That hotel.
yeah, I booked one for my
pack up quick.
I booked one for myself, one for my dad. Talked him into coming. We left Earth, and I'm like, are you gonna come do Earth? And he said, I don't know. And then like 4 days later, he's like, so what are the dates for that?
Right.
It's like, all right, let me book you a room. How about that?
Yeah.
So
I mean, everything's a suite there too. You get a
Yep.
front room and a rear room, which is amazing.
That was
Trying to
definitely one of the nicer hotel rooms I've stayed in.
Yeah.
Maybe like the second nicest that I've booked and the third nicest I've ever been in, because I wound up in a really nice one by accident once.
Right. And everything
End
looks good.
End of the month, I'm going to Smurf in the UK.
oh, you're going to Smurf?
Yeah,
Love
for
to
2
go to
days.
Smurf.
So, Joe gonna be there. Honey Badger. What's his name? Really Print. Thackeray.
Right.
Yeah, I already talked to him. He said, well, we have to hang out and have a few drinks. And like, he doesn't know that I don't drink.
Right. Hell, I'm drinking right now.
I'd rather have a Coca-Cola, and a cigarette. But I quit cigarettes, so only vaping now. I've done a whole bunch of designs for the charity Royal British Legion, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I will get a contract with them to produce stuff for them.
Checking on prints. Printers are printing.
The only thing is, I don't know how I'm going to do that with the filament. I know Polymaker can get me enough filament, but I don't want to be stepped down just with one filament company when I'm doing this type of charity work, because if I have a multiple source coming in from, like let's say Erion, Polymaker, and G-Tech, those three are my favorites basically. And if I run out of one, then I swap over to the other one. But sometimes the colors that don't match up, because the Polymaker black is very black. You know what I mean? Compared to the G-Tech black. And I have to put it in the contract that my filament will change over time if on availability for me, because sometimes everyone runs out of filament, sometimes Polymaker runs out of filament, sometimes G-Tech runs out of filament. So I have to go hop around to get my filament,
Yeah.
So
And White has made it here with these two next to each other.
So my brother and one of our friends came over to help lift that thing, that laser.
Mhm.
Nope, couldn't do it. Thing weighs
No?
about 400 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had to pay like a mini forklift.
Wow. My fiber laser's nowhere near that heavy.
Oh my! Oh yeah, I got a fiber. Right there's the fiber laser right there.
All I've done with mine is fire it up, focus it, make sure it worked, and then I haven't had time to do anything more with it.
Well, that's Lightspeed was talking about creators versus reviewers and stuff on how he nailed it. I mean, as much as people don't like it, he speaks the truth. And, about how usually reviewers don't release content again on what they review. And I said that's because, well, like for me, I have a full-time job and I do this. It takes me 2.5 to 3 weeks to release a video because I kick the tires on whatever I have for at least 2 weeks. Make sure I'm not BSing someone, right?
Right.
And I think that's a good thorough enough test. And then it takes me another week to edit the video. So, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
And then by that time, I already have another product or I have something else in mind that I want to do.
Yeah. So even I'm not a content creator, but I create things. I mean, I create a little bit of content, but I create software. And when someone sends me something that they want me to try out, I try it out, and if I like it, I keep using it. And if if it's a derivative from something else or it's not something I want to use, I don't use it. So it just sits there. But you'll see me use the same filaments over and over again because I'm comfortable with them, and the more comfortable you get with them, the better you can do with UForge, the more things you can come up with. So, I've had filament printers and things like that sent to me, and I'm just like, well, I can use that. Like I ordered the Diamondback nozzles because I wanted to see how they'd work with the stringing and things like that. Would they reduce the stringing from UForge prints? Would you get because of the temperature gradient? And we'll find out.
Yeah.
And also I
tried once Ruby nozzle. Oh, that pain in the bum, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I don't like them at all. It's a waste of money.
These are supposed to be a lot better. Like everyone who uses these loves them. So they're just stupid expensive. Oh, there you go. Yep. They're just stupid expensive.
Yeah, I won this on ModBot's stream.
Oh,
and
nice.
It was like 2 years ago, and I still haven't used it yet.
You haven't used it.
I just know.
I know of it.
This is like my garage is such a mess because I'm waiting for this to get moved. I can't film in here or anything. So I'm like, oh wait, I have a whole bunch of videos on my camera that from like working on the truck, working on the SUV, working on a whole bunch of other things because that's what the channel was about, was working on things and fixing things, and building things.
Yeah, I think I just saw the little video you put up about removing brakes,
Yeah, the rotors. Yeah,
the rotors. Yeah, I saw that. That was a good trick.
yeah.
Right.
But the problem is that you have risk of breaking something, just like if you're wailing on it using the torch. Someone's like, "Oh yeah, you can still break it." I'm like, "Yeah, you can still break anything trying to get it off." I'd rather not use blunt force like that. And plus, I turn it. Some people take an impact on the back of it and just full send. That's how you break
Snap.
it. Yep. So, yeah, I've been using that trick for. Actually, that was in one of my other videos of doing the brakes on the Explorer like over 3 years ago. But it was just in it with it, and I didn't have a good sized bolt. But yeah, that works great.
Right.
Wait, you talk. Sorry, guys. I slammed trying to catch up on
Well,
stuff.
I
I just
mean-
got. Hey guys, how's everybody doing?
What's going on?
All right, how are you?
What's up, Mitch?
What's up?
What were you talking? You said you were. What did you do with a brake caliper? What happened?
Him and his car. Well, he doesn't have a car.
Yeah.
He's carless.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
Wait. Y'all were talking about removing a brake caliper. That's what caught my attention.
Huh?
What?
The brake rotor.
Oh.
Brake
The brake
rotor.
rotor.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just caught the
seized on.
ass end of it. Yeah. Okay. What's going on? What happened?
Oh no, it's like my garage is a mess. I can't film anywhere because I'm waiting for this laser to get on the base.
Right.
That'll be on Friday, and then I could start filming again. But then I was like, wait, I got all this content from like that when I was fixing the F-150 and a whole bunch of other things, and I'm like, man, I could just start actually putting those videos out finally. Because by the time that I record almost everything that I fix or create or remodel or whatever, and I just don't. It just sits because then I have something else that comes along. So,
Question, guys. You know when the bamboo Black Friday deal comes out?
The what?
Bamboo Black Friday deal.
Oh,
Probably on
the
Black Friday.
17th. They start on 17th.
How much reduction? 50% or
One-
40?
It said one. Oh, are you talking about the filament deal or the
Printer.
or the printer deal? It was
Printer.
150 was the up to. It said up to 150. So you have to assume that it's less on the lower end models and more on the upper end models. Is my guess. But it said up to 150.
Home Depot's already started all their Black Friday sales. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Where I got this. Picked up this.
I just
My
a
had an
few
old
years
Porter
ago,
cable set. Hated.
a few years
Right.
ago, somebody broke into my house and stole all my DeWalt tools, and since then, I've been using like 5 different miscellaneous brands of tools, just because I picked them up here and there for cheap as I needed them, and
Right.
now I've been meaning to like just get back into the DeWalt system. I just really like the DeWalt system. It's so
Yeah, me too.
expansive.
I'm
And,
going into Harbor Freight because Harbor Freight has like a buy a battery get a tool free, and I think you can
Oh,
buy
I
a
saw
battery.
that
get a-
advertisement. Yeah.
Yeah, so the goal is to buy just invest heavily in batteries from Harbor Freight, and those are going to be my backpack printer batteries now.
Oh.
And then
Because
turn
I can
around
go
and
to
sell
any-
the tools you don't use.
Well, no, I can go in any Harbor Freight. So if I have to travel with the backpack printer,
Oh.
I don't have to travel with
Oh.
the batteries. I can just buy batteries at a Harbor Freight. But also, they're basically they're Samsung 18650 cells, so they're
Right.
not bad.
Really?
The only thing
Oh.
is they don't have a built-in BMS, so I would have to use a BMS module in the printer case to flash them. So I'm actually building. Part of this whole thing is I'm building a custom UPS controller so that I can have automatic switching. Oh, there's a baby. That's a new
This is-
baby.
Yes. He's like
Aw.
he
We say we're shy.
Dude, he's getting big. I hadn't seen him in a while.
Right.
You didn't have a baby the last time you were on the stream, right?
No, the baby's new. His
Yeah,
house
he's
is
a-
new.
Wow.
I still have scars from the
Congratulations.
moving.
Yeah.
I got. Look, that one. We're getting the. Can you see my knuckle?
Yeah.
Oh
There you
yeah.
go. That's
sorry.
new from just a couple of days ago. Getting the last stuff out of my old house.
I'm blocking.
It's
Steve
crazy,
with my-
dude.
Hey, Mitch, I was
Fine,
going
block
to
me.
tell
Yeah,
you that
sorry.
Hey,
you can make
Dwight.
a backpack laser.
Oh,
I
that-
don't want to blind. I don't want to blind
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh no,
I was gonna
the
say-
F1. The F1 has a shield and everything. It's
Yeah.
small. And
Is
it
that a
doesn't
fiber
take
laser
much-
like a Galvo?
It's a Galvo.
Oh, that'd be
That'd
cool.
be
How
fun.
much do those draw, like power wise?
Oh, not much at all.
Oh, okay.
It's 10-watt head.
Oh,
A
that'd be
laser.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sure. If
very-
somebody wants to sponsor it, I'll do it. But,
So, I mean, you just put a small, it has an exhaust fan. You make a little filter box, and you're set.
well, I'm more worried about like if the Galvo while you're moving, if the Galvo.
Well, you have to just
It can't be worse than your 3D printer problems with moving around. Yeah.
I don't think the 3D printer had a problem. The Aris maybe did, but the HG backpack, I thought it was getting pretty good print quality compared to like
Yeah.
a stationary printer.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't-
I
it
didn't
wasn't
even, I
bad
didn't
at
even
all.
tune it. Yeah, I didn't even tune it, and it had a little bit of wobbly sidewalls, but like I could probably flush those out with a little bit of flow tuning. Like
Right.
honestly, I
simple
think
correction. Yeah.
I think the bed actually shifts a little bit more than just the frame. So if I secured the bed, it probably would help a little bit. But
the problem is, you could actually have people if you do like the backpack F1. Right? Maybe I could reach out to them.
That'd be
I
cool.
think it's a pretty cool advertising gimmick that you could have like name tags, right, or something that you could just. And the thing is you could just hit the side button and repeat the last job.
Right.
So you could just open it, have someone open it, put it in there, and hit the button.
Right on.
Do they have an attachment for like a foot pedal? So you just have that on his hand.
Oh, you could do it that way. You could just or you could just jury rig it and have like a switch.
Yeah.
It's
Dead man
switch. Yep, it's just a
The dead man
potentiometer.
switch.
It's
Don't make me fire my laser.
it's just a clicking.
Nice.
All I want is a Mitch with a freaking laser beam on it.
I mean, I don't have any safeties on the backpack printer other than I can pull the battery connector off. Hopefully.
There you go.
But like,
Hopefully.
I don't know. Like, I was really concerned about lipo fires, even with the lithium polymers that I brought. Like, the lithium iron
Well,
phosphates
that's
are
a
fine.
legitimate concern, man.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
is.
a. If you're not afraid of that, that would worry me more. Yeah, that's a legitimate
I'm-
concern.
So that's why I want a BMS. I would have fuses. I'll have thermal switches probably somehow. Like, there's gonna be a lot of protections for at least. I mean, the drill batteries actually have their own built-in thermocouple. They're actually 2 of the pins are thermocouple outputs on those Harbor Freight batteries. So, and they break out the cells. So,
Well,
I
that's
can
your major
balance them.
safety right there. If they do have those on there, I mean, it's a fuse basically.
Yeah,
So-
but I'll also fuse it as well. So,
Good man.
yeah, there's a lot of options for what I want to try to do. So,
Hey, do you any of you guys? I'm sorry if I'm jumping into the conversation late, guys. Like I said, it's good to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a while. Do y'all know anything about bees, like beekeeping? Are y'all have any backgrounds or familiarity with it?
I know.
I hate bees, so
There you go.
they
I
sting.
know you make them mad, they sting you.
yep.
It's a thing. Yeah, I mean,
That's true.
very little. There's that
Okay,
printable
well,
beehive. I know that.
Honey, bees, honey.
Yeah, honey is tasty.
I thought
So I
honey
had,
came
to
from
go, I had to
bears.
go help somebody today, and it was a bullshit job. But I had to go. I was being the neighborly thing and took care of it. And she is a beekeeper, and she does really well. She's recognized in I don't know. I don't do bees, man. So, but she's got awards and all kinds of crap. So we were sitting there talking, and she said, "Can you build me a bee spinner entrance?" I had no clue
That's
what
good.
that was.
A spinner. Yeah, a
A
centrifugal thing does. It It gets the honey out.
Camera. I don't know where my camera is here. This thing.
Yep.
So, now this is a typical design, 70 millimeter. So I took it up a stage and flipped it more to this
Did
with
you make
a
it full screen,
landing
Joseph?
platform for the
Yeah,
bees.
hold on.
Huh?
Sorry. Working on a printer like always.
How dare you?
I know,
It's
right?
like it's a
How-
3D printing stream.
I
We just want to
know.
see. I wanted to see that better.
So I
It is
moved over
great
to
camera.
this design here with
Okay.
a landing platform that actually boots up to it. So when the bees, I shouldn't have printed it in black if I was going to show it to you guys. Where the bees have a landing pad to come into. And man, I don't know a lot about bees.
You weren't wearing a black shirt.
Well, yeah, this is true. But yeah, all these things are true, man. Thanks, guys. I mean, I'm begging myself to stay awake right now. I'm so exhausted. But yeah, I hit off on this thing today, and Ian, you know who it is. It's Athena. So after talking with her, and I came up with
Was she the one that was chewing you out about my cats, or was that somebody else?
Probably, knowing her, she's the cat lady. She does the show cats. Yeah, that was her saying you needed to keep the cats and whatever. Well, anyway, I took a crash course on beekeeping today. All 20 minutes of it. And
So you're a YouTube expert now.
no,
Yeah.
I haven't watched a YouTube video on it at all. Actually, from her, and the understanding why this was so important. I didn't. Dude, bees live in nature and they don't depend on us. And the people that make them depend on us. I feel bad for the bees. So evidently this is a big part of it. And I mean, I can go into explanation if y'all want to know about it. But after talking with her and finding out why this is so important, especially where we have these weird weather days and a lot of insects that want to hurt honeybees. I mean, like I said, I did a crash course today. So now I kind of understand what she was shooting for. Got into her head a little bit. But I get home and I bust out a few designs and take pictures of them, send them over to her, shoot them to the print. And she called me just like, well, Ian, it was when you texted me saying if I was going to jump on the live stream. And I was like, just pulling in the driveway. So she was saying that the design with the landing pad, she may have 50 or 60 people that need them. And that sounds great, right? 50 or 60 orders, but they don't want just one. A lot of these people have 15, 20 beehives. They need one for each hive. And I said,
That's fine.
okay. I said, let me do some numbers. I'm gonna have to get back with them. And, you just never know where these big things are going to come from. And if this does take off, this little design here, then this is actually going to go out to, like, I don't know, Beekeepers Associations of Texas or some shit. If it hits there, the orders could go tenfold.
Yeah, they were saying that the bee population was dying off because of just people using them for regular crops too, and not letting them just naturally go out and pollinate. And
luckily, we have some beekeepers. I actually know most of them because I get honey from them, and they're all natural. Stroops is a big one down here. It's listed as clover honey, but since they actually grow, they're a flower. I forget what the hell they do. Where they, like, you order flowers and you live in another state, they pick them, box them, and send them to you. So it's perfect for the bees and for the flowers. So all theirs is actually a flower honey. They call it a clover honey, but man, it is so much better. It's not sweeter. It's just the honey taste is very vibrant in it. So I never thought about, dude, like I said, the only thing I knew about bees is I got honey from them. That's it. So today I learned a lot about there is some, if you're actually going to be a beekeeper, there's some maintenance involved with it. And I think I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg on what's available. And I haven't done any YouTube shit yet. That's actually tomorrow's work, man. I'm too tired to do it tonight.
The first time I was a little bit educated on it was Macro and Dirty Jobs. So
I love that show.
So,
I actually got
what?
Go ahead.
No. Whatever I was gonna say was totally unimportant. I'm babbling right now. Go ahead.
I actually got contacted So I got contacted by someone who I've done some promotional work for, croc charms, bag tags, that kind of stuff, and pre-hue boards. And I've mostly stopped printing to order because I just don't have time. But if one of my people that I've already talked to, brings someone to me, I'll talk to them. This lady came to me and she has her side job. This is her side gig. She makes like backyard pools with stock tanks.
Nice.
And so it's called Stock Tank Life. And I think the stock tank part of it is like, here's how you get your pool. You go buy the stock tank. We'll give you your fittings and all the stuff. And then they mostly sell the upsells, the decking, the decorative around it. I think the stock tank is not really what they're selling. I'm not 100% certain on this because I've only talked to her about the 3D printing aspect. But they have a fitting, and it's one of those fittings for like, a pump and circulation system. And it's, the company that makes it, because they don't want anyone making parts, makes a custom thread for it. And she needed a plug. Well, she really wanted the whole cap. I don't want to show the whole thing, but she wanted this, but not a mesh to screw on. And so she's like, well, can you do this? And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable making this watertight without making it massive. Like, I just watertight
Make it at
printing
TPU.
or
How much pressure is it going to take?
At 4 feet of water, maybe 3.5 feet of water. But I suggested
we're still talking about 40 pounds of pressure. Just print it at TPU. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but she wants 400 of them.
Oh,
I'll print them. Just let me know.
This is what I told Athena today. If I've got all those orders coming in, I'll build a prototype. If it works well, I'm going to get a mold created, and I'm going to do pressure injection. There's no way I'm going to sit here and print 500 of these.
I'll
this is what I came up
everybody
with.
pitches in.
It goes on the inside.
Justin, can you blow his screen up, please?
Yeah, hold on.
I'll show you the fitting. I don't think it's a big deal. This is the fitting, and this normally goes on here like this, right?
Oh, screen filter. Yeah.
So but for whatever reason, and I'm having trouble getting a video chat with her because this is her second job too. But I said, can we plug this hole instead? Would that be okay? That'd be a lot easier, much easier to make that solid. Even if I printed out a TPU, it's still way easier. And she said, yeah, that should work. And then she said, we're fine with gaskets or things like that. So I have a gasket set here, or an O-ring set here. So I put those on. The big problem is, and she was worried, well, what if it pops out? Now, this actually seats almost right up against the surface. So I don't really have much room to play with. But obviously, if this is screwed on, nothing's coming out. But there's not that much pressure.
Right.
Like, it's not a pressurized system. And I'm not exactly sure what the use case is for plugging it, but they have this need. There's 2 per tub. She said they sell 200 to 300 tubs a year, and their initial order would be for about 400 of them. And I was like, okay, like that. And that's the thing. My kids, I've been working with my kids on some of the last couple orders, and I'll say, you come down, clear the plate, put them in the bags, label the bag, how many you just put in, start the next print. Like, you do that cycle, and then I'll cut you in on, the sale.
That's a great idea.
So
400
child labor laws there, huh?
And family.
Well, I
It's
think
family.
that falls under good parenting.
It's fine if you're in Iowa. You're fine.
In what state? What did you say?
Iowa.
Oh, Iowa.
I
like
I
Iowa. What's wrong with Iowa?
I think they lowered their
Oh,
child
did they
labor
really?
laws.
Well,
Okay.
there's always been an exception for family as well. Like, if it's your family that's working, then there's different rules. But
Here in Texas, it's the same way.
yeah. But anyway, so I'm still trying to get. But the problem is, I can't. They're hard to get out now. And I put a little hole here. You can't really see it. Maybe you can see those holes.
Yeah.
I put those holes there to try to put like a lanyard through or something. But you can't put this cap on if the lanyard's there. And I actually did it. I had a zip tie in there.
You can't make that connection a little taller.
Well, if it's any taller, this one's taller, right? If it's any taller, this doesn't seat. Like, if you want,
so that still has to go on over it, not replacing it.
It doesn't. Well, that's what I need to talk to them about. She said I'd feel more comfortable if this was on because it won't. You have some pressure against it, it won't come out. But I'm like, hey, these don't come out. I literally have to get my channel locks out. I have a, the cross beam here with an angle on it, and I can't do it by hand. I have to put a pair of channel locks and pull them out. These things are in there. I have to, from this side, I have to hit it with a screwdriver and pop it out. These things really seat in there. This one, I obviously like this one better because it's smaller. But anyway, so I'm just waiting to hear back from her. But like these, I can do 25 of these. This one's going to be more, but 25 of these. And I said I'd do it. I was going to do it in polycarbonate just so that it's because UV. We're going to be outdoors in chlorine. I wasn't sure how TPU was going to be in chlorine and UV. So
that's a good question.
So, and I think I read that it's not great in chlorine, but I bought a spool of glass fiber filled polycarbonate just to make it really rigid, stiff, and never break on them. But they're looking at like a 2-pack of these is $25 or $30.
Yeah.
So, if I sell these for $7 to $10 a piece to her, and I have to ask, do I need to source the O-rings? Or can these O-rings okay? Do they need to be different if they're going to be in chlorine? Like you do the pool stuff, you tell me. The other option, and I've been thinking about this, is I do recreate this, but I don't try to seal it with this. I just get a piece of flat gasket material and put it in the lid, and then you just screw it down, and it just seals across this opening here.
So, and still using exactly, dude, that's the way to go. If they'll go for it.
Well, but this is a much bigger part, and I have to work out their threading. So if I'm going to cover this, here, I have to work out what their threading is exactly. Threading, 3D printing threading, and then I have to, which is threading be a giant pain. Yep, and then I have to source and find and cut out the parts that go in here, and I don't have a CO2 laser to cut out gasket material, and my fiber laser is not going to be the right tool for that job. I can do it, I suppose, but it would not be the right tool.
Would silicone hold up in the situation you're using it for?
Yeah, silicone should hold up just fine.
Silicone molds they're pretty cheap. And, it's been a while since I've done them. But you can punch those out left and right, and it makes its own seal. You wouldn't need an O-ring. You build that into it.
Oh, if I made it just a puck like this?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I know chlorine's not silicone.
What's the cost of materials on a piece of on the silicone material? Isn't the silicone pretty expensive because of the platinum? Aren't most of the platinum catalyzed?
I mean,
the last molds I bought were under $100, and that was a small mold. But with today's prices and where everything is, I couldn't tell you. We'd have to research the hell out of that.
I mean, I'm looking. I mean, I am looking at $400 a filament, even at $40 a spool. So it's not like the filament cost is negligible. So, but like, at 400 for that, that's for an order of 400. So, and
those orders are going to continue on the backside. That's going to grow.
Most likely they would continue. I don't think they grow specifically, but I think that she would continue to want to have some number in stock.
So this would be just batch processes as they needed them.
Yep, and I can do 25 at a time easily on a printer. I could actually do 36 on a printer, but I was like, I don't really want to run for, I don't want to. I think, and the thing was 36. I think ended up being like 3/4 of a spool of filament, and 25 was almost exactly half a spool. So I'm like, I can do 25, and then I can do 25 again. Whereas if I do 36, I have to then swap, and it's more work.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, you're playing it right. It sounds like.
But so this was a little side thing I did, mostly to avoid my code block in HueForge. I'll have fun there.
Well, it's weird. It's
I know
weird
exactly what needs to be done.
How these little inspirations, if you want to call them, just kind of pop up. And like with the beehive thing and what you're doing there with the pools, and that to me, that's I kind of like it. It's something, it's a change from the normal. So this has been interesting. I mean, I've always wanted to have bees just because I want honey, but the way they do it, it sounds like too much damn work. But if I can make money off
a smaller amount.
If I get one hive, dude, yeah, for sure. Well, one of my neighbors behind me had beehives for a long time, and they did zero maintenance on them. And they would have a beekeeper come out and harvest for them. and they would keep the honey
Oh,
and
yeah.
pay them a fee. They did 0, and that beehive stayed good for up until the mountain lion decided to destroy everything. It was active for years. So yeah, after the mountain lion, everything kind of got destroyed, and they just never rebuilt them. But I'm guessing cats like honey too. I don't know, or maybe it was chasing an animal. I don't know. It was a big old cat that tore it up. You were still living here, Ian, when that happened. You were still living at next door when that happened.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Nope.
Okay.
I remember that oil tank exploding.
We have some friends who a beekeeper. I don't know how they ended up meeting a beekeeper, but they don't have a huge lot, but they have a decent sized lot, and it backs onto farmers' fields and all kinds of stuff around them. And he said, "Oh, this would be perfect for my beehives." And they said, "Okay, put your beehives down there." And so he comes and checks the hives every once in a while and pulls some honey. And every time he pulls honey, he gives them a couple jars of it. And so it's a similar idea, but they literally just said, "Oh, you need somewhere for your hives? Come put them down here." And so at the bottom of their hill, they said the only issue is the bees will come up to the pool when in the middle of summer. They'll come up to the pool and get water, and so then they'll be like, "Okay, stay away from the pool today, girls. The bees are real thirsty." And we told them just go put a bucket of water down further down the hill, and the bees will go to the shorter distance for that water.
Yeah, for sure.
It's better
And
for them too than the fluoridated pool water.
Well, man, I don't know. Bees are resilient. Everybody talks about how fragile. Beekeepers talk about how fragile they are. Farmers talk about how bees pollinate. They don't care about the bees. They just want them to pollinate. I'm a gardener. I have a vegetable garden. And the bees make a huge difference. When the bee population is down, the vegetables, they're less. If the bee population is up around me, then I have a better harvest. I physically see the difference.
You should. Absolutely.
It's huge. Yeah. So I'm all, I mean, since I like to grow my own vegetables, I mean, I don't mind buying a tomato from the store, but a grown tomato that you can just pick up and eat an apple without it running all over you. And it just, oh my gosh, I'm not hungry at all right now. My mouth's watering thinking about it. Yeah. When it's something, they're just better. They look the same. They smell the same, but the taste is completely different. So,
backyard tomatoes.
Can't beat them, right?
I have.
How's everybody doing? I haven't talked to you guys in forever. Tripod, you still alive? I see.
I try to be.
He looks around. Who? Me?
Well, he's not driving Sam, so he doesn't know what to do with himself.
Right. Oh, yeah. If I'm not Sam's Uber, I go to her. If it was like, "Hey, have you seen Sam?" Oh, okay.
Mitch, what you been up to?
It was Jason at LDO that did that to me.
Oh, did he really? He left you hanging there? Oh, that's hilarious.
Chop liver. It's all good.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's funny. Mitch, what you been doing, bud?
Right now I'm trying to learn how to do toolpaths in Fusion 360 because I'm about to build a spoil board on my CNC.
Yeah?
I just started learning that myself, although I suspect I'm having an easier time of it than you because I'm learning it for a plasma cutter.
Yeah, 2D is should be easier when you only have technically 2.5 axes. But Fusion does a lot of stuff for you, and I'm trying to fool it into doing simpler moves. And I could technically just program the G code, but I want to learn how to do it through Fusion.
How's that going?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
I do
honest answer, wasn't it?
Yeah, okay. Let's say I want to do a profile on the line. I don't want to do an offset, right? I'm using a 2-inch fly cutter, and I want to do the perimeter of my maximum reach of my gantry. So 610 by 990, and it's a 2-inch cutter. So all I want to do is just a profile that does a conventional cut, fly cutting in a 0.2 millimeter depth, right? Depth of cut 0.2 millimeters. So I'm just skimming the top of the spoil board, but I want to do a profile, and then I want to do passes. And
you want to level up the spoil board?
Yeah, I'm leveling a spoil board, but just to do that, I've tried selecting
You can
face
share your screen
operation
if you want.
yeah, I can show you, but
You have the power to share it.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't
I like to break stuff, so hold on.
oh, I know.
I haven't messed around with my plasma CNC art droid since.
Oh, the arc droid would be fun.
Oh, and now they're coming out with
Yeah.
an XL finally.
Let's see
But
if
I need a water table.
Okay, so
It's still going to be too
Share
small for what we're
share
doing.
the power.
it's sharing. I don't know how to
Well,
switch it.
Hit add stream.
Oh, you can't. He has to share it and then.
Well, he has the power. Mitch is a moderator.
I don't think I do.
Oh,
What? When did that
Oh,
happen?
look at you
I don't
go!
know. Oh, well, that's
Nice.
Has that been the only thing you've done with it, or have you done like actual?
No, I haven't done anything else, and that was my first Fusion 360.
Oh, nice. See,
I liked it.
yeah,
It came out good.
so they have like post processors for like modern machines. So like my post processor right now, I'm using a Linux CNC that is specifically for the print and see. So it has some, I guess, some custom stuff in it. But this is my spoil board. So I have the last week or a couple of weeks I've been drilling these holes.
mm-hmm.
And so I had the machine drill its own holes in the spoil board or the MDF, and then I actually drilled them through to the baseboard, which is plywood, and then I took the baseboard off, countersunk holes with a Forstner bit, and then hammered in 108 T-nuts in the base of it. And so now,
You did all that by hand?
yeah, it sucks.
Oh, good
Um,
lord!
And that's when it's like I don't want my spoil board to even get hit. Right? It's like after all the work you put into it.
Well, no, the spoil board is
Absolutely.
just has holes, but the baseboard is a piece of birch, like a really expensive birch plywood
Okay.
that I basically by hand drilled to match this. So this and the baseboard have the holes that match, and the T-nuts underneath them all match. So I can thread M6 bolts through every single hole all the way through, and
Wow.
so it will clamp through. So I have a lot of fixture options, but the pocket, basically where it's going to fly cut is going to be a pocket, because the CNC router, the gantry can't reach, the cutting head can't reach the perimeter of the baseboard. So
Hey, I have another market.
Privilege.
If you feel like building more of these, I actually have a market you might be able to drop into, dude. I know a lot of the people that used to build LM tables for entertainment, for lasers. They do laser light shows and stuff with them. Everything mounts on the board. All the XY mirrors, everything mounts onto them. And I've built some of those by hand, dude. And I've been cross-eyed when I was done.
Wait, you talk about drilling holes
with
into
CNCs,
like a phenolic board,
drilling holes with the either drilling and threading, which is the optimal way to do it, or putting in seats. But yeah, if that's something you can do,
about like
crazy.
those laser boards for. Because I've seen laser tables where they're really stable. They're like £1 million for universities.
Yes, but this is a trimmed down version of it for portability. I used to do that. A whole
what's
different
it actually
ago.
made out of?
We used aluminum, the anodized aluminum.
Okay. Yeah, I could do aluminum plate like this, but so how I did this actually was tiling. So I did the first one half of it sideways. So my gantry only reaches this 3-foot section, right? This 3-foot section. So I took this board, flipped it sideways. I did a row of 6 holes, and then I shifted the whole board over and aligned the holes, the previously drilled holes, with the new row, and then drilled the other 6 holes, and basically I clamped the MDF to the frame, and that's how I held it down so that I could get all these square, and then I flipped it over and I actually just aligned the spoil board because there's a little bit of play, and now that is aligned with the gantry with the frame. So the holes are actually square to the holes are actually square to the actual gantry by hand.
Mitch, I can say this to you without hurting your feelings, but that's true Texas rednecking, buddy.
Yeah,
and you made it work. I mean, it is.
The way that I should have done this whole thing is just by T-tracks and screw them into a piece of
Oh,
plywood
yeah.
and then cut strips of MDF and put them between the T-tracks, which is what everybody else does. But no, I wanted fixture holes because I don't know why, but I like the look of it.
Sure.
And then the bolts that are, I have 12 M6 bolts holding it down to the base plywood, and then the plywood is actually held down to the frame through its M6 bolts that are tapped into the frame directly. So there's 8 bolts holding the baseboard and 12 bolts holding the MDF to that. So everything's rigidly mounted to each other.
What exactly are you going to use this for?
The CNC router?
Is this for
Yes.
the CNC router?
Yeah, this is the CNC router spoil board.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were building
Yeah.
this for it. Oh, I thought you were building it on it.
Well, I mean, technically it's on it, but like it's the spoil board. So normally, like a spoil board, like I said, I usually use T-tracks, and then you put MDF between the T-tracks, and so the T-tracks are where you hold your clamps, and then the
Right.
spoil boards are like little strips of MDF that you can replace, or you could drill stuff into, or whatever. Because most of the time, you want to drill. When you're just starting, you're just drilling your stock material into the spoil board. But I don't like the drill hole thing, so I decided to do it this way. And this way, I can use M6 bolts, and I can make fixtures that are evenly spaced. So these are 100 millimeter spacing holes. So I can make on the laser cutter, I could laser cut a fixture plate basically out of plywood that matches the hole pattern on this, and use that as my alignment jig or whatever. Like there's a lot of options I could do, or I can mill a fixture that will have a pocket of the thing I want to cut, and then have it just mounted to the spoil board. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
for
like
sure.
if you want to do a flip over, like that's a little bit more tricky because these holes aren't going to be perfectly aligned. So if I want to use dowels, I actually will drill into the spoil board like 2 or 3 holes, and then I would like on the stock material drill my 3 holes on the top, and then on the baseboard drill my 3 holes, and then that way when I flip it over, the dowels will align the top and bottom. That's like a standard 2-up configuration. That's probably 90% of what I'm going to be doing is just 2-sided operations with a 3D contour milling. Like I want to do, there's a lot of like hardwood 3D stuff that like looks cool on Instagram that I want to do, but I can do aluminum on this thing. It's just there's a limitation of like how good your facing quality will be just based on the tooling. The deflection's probably the worst part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a steel frame, but it's like the way I have it built, I only have 1 bearing car per axis, or two bearing cars per axis. You can double them up so you actually get more resistance to actual gantry deflection. So you would actually double up on the linear bearing cars and add a little bit more triangulation to the axis to make it more rigid. But you lose your X and Y throw. So it's already limited by like 2 by 3 foot. So I'm trying not to reduce my XY footprint.
Gotcha.
But I have in my head that I could do like take a 4x8 sheet, cut 1 foot off the side, and actually tile 2 foot at a time and do a full sheet of plywood minus the 1 foot half, and then use that 1 foot half to do all your smaller parts.
You're gonna give me a fan
nesting,
pain before I keep on talking about feet getting missing and in half, and it's bad enough that Justin changed me to Lego loss.
I mean, I had to. It took you a while to figure it out.
Well, the thing is, I'm looking at, since I'm minimized over here, I'm like, did he change it to Lego loss? Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Ian, did you share your new machine with everybody in the group?
Which new machine?
The one with the stuff in the
big
piece?
one. The big one that's cutting the steel right now.
Oh yeah, I got a 4x8 plasma cutter.
Nice.
What brand?
Langmuir.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, how'd you get that?
There you go. Well, the trick was I went to my estimating department at work, and for 3 years I've periodically gone up to the lead estimator and said, "Hey, when are you going to get me a job that'll buy a plasma cutter?" And so about 3 months ago, I went up to do that again, and he looks at me, rolls his eyes, and with the most exasperated voice you've ever heard says, "Do you have any idea how much those cost? And I said, yeah, we can do it for about 10 grand. And then he does this double take thing with me. He goes, 10 grand. And I go, yes. I go, for
Oh,
a
that's
CNC.
easy.
And he goes,
Yeah.
I go, yes. I go, that's at least 4x8. And I said, yes. Show me. So I took him over and showed him it. And he goes, I was just about to pass up on a metal package that would pay for this outright.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
It's funny how they overestimate like
Well,
the cost of machines. So like honestly, like you could get away with like an Avid CNC for a lot of production CNC work, router work. Like the plasma cutters, like if you're not going for like crazy production, like sheet loading stuff, like you could get a fiber laser for 20,000. Like it's just you got to know how to like deal with all the issues, right?
well, it depends on if you're talking about for cutting fiber.
So that's what I mean. You could get like a 1,000, 2,000 watt if you're trying to go like full send production mode. But if you're doing if you're a job shop, I mean, machines
I haven't seen them that low in price. Sorry,
but
Mitch.
well, okay, maybe plus shipping from AliExpress, but
because the Omtech that I have is 13 grand. So
We got Steve
Omtech,
Builds in the chat.
Omtech just
Mr.
doubles the price of whatever.
Well,
they
it's
sell
for
from China.
because
the
support.
Mr. Voron himself. Right there.
Wait,
That's
what
the thing,
do you
don't get
have?
support from China.
What's your fiber? What you have a CNC fiber or just a regular
No,
fiber?
just regular fiber. No, the CNC fiber he's talking about needs to be like 100 watts.
Yeah.
Or more.
No, I'm talking like 1,000, like a kilowatt or more to cut through steel, right?
Yeah.
What do you have? 100 watt? What do you have? Like 100 watt moped?
I mean, not 100. I mean, 1,000. I was going to say 1,000 watt. I said 100.
Yeah.
No, I have 100 watt. Yeah, you need like 1,000 watt one to cut through steel.
Yeah, I have
Yeah, I just got a
Speaking-
50.
yeah,
I have a 50.
50 watts are good.
Speaking
a good start.
of fiber lasers, and since we were talking about Langmeyer just a second ago, some December, January, they're supposed to announce an addition of a fiber laser to the Langmeyer lineup.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Langmeyer is getting pretty good at making like the cheapest machines you could possibly get.
Well, and
affordable,
wrong
right?
the thing is, they're pretty basic. Okay, come on.
They're basic, but like the MR1 looks pretty impressive on paper.
Right.
For being like basically like a Tormach router, basically. It's
half it's like a fourth of the price of the Tormach.
That's what I mean.
It doesn't do everything though. I'll admit it. But
it could definitely do low height plate, so plate aluminum, plate steel.
Yeah.
And the spindles and lower RPM, high torque. But it's not going to be obviously the rigidity of a Haas or a Bridgeport.
When I was looking for a plasma CNC, and I was looking at the footprint of the garage, I was thinking of 4x4 or 4x8, and I'm like, there goes half my garage.
Right.
So then I saw the Arc Droid. I'm like, okay, it's portable.
Yeah.
It's it's only
the Arc Droid really makes a lot of sense.
It's honestly it's great because you can just move it, and I love that you could do simple trace. It has so many different features of any other one out there, and you can do
shove it up on a shelf
too. So, yeah, it's a nice unit, and
it makes a lot of sense depending for the right thing. I mean, even it's like you said, 4x4, which I think that's Langmeyer's smallest model. Or maybe it's a 4x3 or something like that.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
That's a lot of space to have just occupied all the time if you're not constantly using it.
Yeah, and that's what I knew I wasn't going to.
Are you doing a water table? Because I saw it.
That's why I want to do a water table.
A friend that did like 2x2, and he had a little water table. It was Langmeyer.
Well, the thing is I want it all to be on its own carts, so I can actually push it outside.
Oh yeah. Well, I think he did a cart, but he had like a little water tank, and it would raise and lower with air pressure or something.
Yeah, it's either you're gonna do a downdraft or you're gonna do a water table, right? So
yeah, or just take it outside and just don't do anything.
Yeah, and that's either way. I
don't know a whole lot about them. What is a downdraft? What does that do?
It pulls it.
It's like a vacuum kind of.
Like a vacuum?
Okay. It sucks the fumes down.
I can see that.
Basically, you're generating rust. You're rapidly generating rust. You're oxidizing metal rapidly with plasma, essentially. And So everything that it touches turns rusty. That's why you have to replaceable slats, and you usually have water to catch it so that the slag at least doesn't like.
Oh, it went everywhere.
Go everywhere.
That's why I haven't ran it, because
Yeah.
literally the garage, everything had soot
Just
all
slag
over it.
everywhere.
Oh, it was awful.
I've worked on both. I've worked on both industrial plasmas with water and downdrafts, and I think the downdrafts are just harder to build. They're just because you have to do so much construction to the building to get like a big vent and a big, multiple vent fans and stuff like that. But like water tables are pretty simple, and you just and usually also they usually have like at the makerspace we're at, they have a 4x8 plasma. But we're actually going to swap out for a Linux CNC to do a Mesa card because everybody has a lot of problems with auto torch height control because it's so electrically noisy. So you have to have all this isolation to get it to work. And
that makes sense.
And there's really not any good solutions, but apparently Linux CNC, a lot of plasma people use Linux CNC to build their own plasma cutters. So, and I guess there's already like setups for Linux CNC. So, but yeah, Mesa actually has a because they're usually like optically isolated or some kind of isolation between the voltage out from the plasma cutter to your actual signal. It actually outputs to it like a digital signal.
Yeah,
that tells the voltage.
I got the unlock code because you actually, for the Arctroid, you have to request the unlock code for the torch height control.
That's a kind of a weird license. You have to pay for it?
No. You just have to email them and say you want it, and then it'll send you the code.
So they don't do that by default?
No, because it's very picky. Well, you have to put, again, it's like a 5 to 7.5 volt, right?
Yeah.
And so the thing is they make it to where it's pretty plug and play.
Oh, yeah. They don't want you messing with stuff.
Yeah, so that's why. They want to make sure you know what you're getting into when you do it. That's all.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and watching it work.
It doesn't really matter on usually smaller parts, but you get thinner material and it warps like crazy. So.
Oh yeah.
Do you what kind of plasma? Because I'm only used to the Hypertherm stuff, but I know the Hypertherm's like the top of the line.
Oh, I'm using
Hypertherms.
I'm using a prime weld
Hypertherm 65 sync.
Yeah, that's essentially what they use. And what's yours? Sorry.
I'm using a prime weld cut 60.
Prime. I've heard of prime weld. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good entry level. I mean, I could cut 3/4 inch if I really wanted to with it.
So that's pretty close to those Harbor Freight ones, where it's like under $1,000 for it.
I would rather go with the prime weld.
No, I heard the prime weld, the TIG welders too. Prime weld TIG welders are supposed to be really good for the price.
Yeah, they reached out to me for that. I'm like, I'm not ready. I have a Lincoln welder, but
I'll take the TIG.
Yeah.
I won't do a video on it, but I'll definitely take it.
That's something I want to learn to do is weld. I don't know weld.
I've tried
the theory. I would love to learn to weld.
I was just talking to my daughter welding. That I want to go back to school.
I do too. Welding. I like to weld.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Dude, it's an invaluable skill. I can't even tell you how much it comes in handy.
No, I learned MIG, but like they kind of spoil you the billers.
Trigger puller, baby. That's all.
The millers that have the little screen, and you just tell it like what material you're cutting, what material you're using.
Yeah, that's
what thing is, and you're just like, okay, and then the wire, you just don't change the wire ever, and then you just go, shh, and it's done.
See, I learned to MIG weld on a Miller 110 volt machine that.
Oh God!
Honestly, I don't even know where I got it from or something, but I got it for free.
It probably wasn't a MIG. It was probably just wire feed, which means there's spatters all over the place.
It was a MIG. It was.
So yeah, the gap.
But I was just running flux core in it because I got it for free, and it had been heavily used. It actually needed some repairs, which I figured out how to do all the repairs myself and made them, and I got it working. And that's what I learned to weld on. Well, I wound up donating that to a summer camp that needed to be able to. They needed a small 110 welder to take around and do repairs to things around the camp. So I donated to them, and then I bought a Miller-Matic 210 with auto set. That auto set is pretty cool, but it's not 100% accurate.
No, that's a good welder. I've used your welder.
Yeah,
that's a good
I
welder.
find you get better
Yeah,
results if you
FlexCore.
just know what you're doing with the settings.
My man.
Yeah, FlexCore is I mean, it's totally doable. It's
Oh yeah.
but I mean, like
Yeah.
everything, you just have to make sure you're getting the right material with the right, wire, and
You know,
you gotta
I
set up.
have
is that the
fallen
video?
back on welding. Oh, nice. Hey, Justin, where's Justin?
Oh, that's not live though. That's pre-recorded, right?
Yeah,
no, that's
all-
what he
what's
cut.
in my
But I'd
video.
like to see
Because if
it.
he was doing it live, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Oh no, I would be.
Wouldn't it?
I'd be wearing
Oh.
my 10 shade glasses.
Yeah.
So,
You can't get UV through the LCD screen.
yeah.
Let's hope.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think somebody mentioned that on like a UV laser video about
What?
like, hey, you don't need glasses for when
Oh,
you're
I
watching
was
through a
right.
TV.
It drives me nuts. You still need glasses for, it's like for this, I have the 10 shade, either 9 or 10. I think it's 10.
Yeah, but if you have like a baby monitor, then you don't need sunglasses.
Yeah, you don't need it,
Use a
but-
baby monitor.
Actually, yeah, I was
Again,
actually,
y'all are
that just-
cheaters.
It just made me think. I can just get a camera to watch my laser, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
it's-
sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
the best way to actually do it, to be honest.
But
with you.
Yeah.
but the problem is you don't want to be doing that, doing it remotely, and then
No.
You gotta be
But
in
I
the same
don't.
room.
yeah, because that's what I
I
think
have a
people do is they
small-
like, oh, I'll just I have a 24-hour long job. I'll just
Yeah,
have
no.
a camera there, and then then they realize when you actually do catch on fire, now you gotta have somebody like run out there
Right.
and press the e-stop or get.
Yeah, it's-
So
No, it's a 12 by it's like a 12 by 14 wood. It's in my 12 by 14 wood shop, and I have a duct to pull it out the window. But the one time I actually cut anything, I afterwards I was like, man, I really wish that I had actually put my respirator mask on first.
oh god, that throws sparks.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Crazy.
That's why you want the water bath, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
no
like I
doubt.
said, the whole garage was. I had the garage
Yeah.
door open too during the whole time,
Oh yeah.
and it was just.
Well, it's also like all the alloy stuff that goes in it is like chromium and crazy stuff. Yeah, THC. That THC, you gotta get that good stuff. Rich eye control.
Yeah, I felt a little bit
Oh, he
weird
locked up.
after burning my laser a little bit.
Yeah,
From the THC.
yeah, from all that
From the
THC,
from
from the
the
smoke.
from the vaporized plane iron.
Yeah,
Vaporized
all that
steel.
chromium, burning your lungs with
Yeah.
hydrochloric acid.
Suffered a
I don't
little
know if
brain
this
damage, did you?
shows- You see this?
Is that wood or printed?
Nope.
Huforge printed wood.
That's printed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Justin, you're failing on your job,
Chair.
brother.
It looks like copper.
Yeah, it does.
it's supposed to be it's supposed to be. It's a
Like-
little too yellow. Yeah, it's supposed
It
to be
looks like a
cherry.
pearl.
It's supposed to be like curly cherry.
Yeah, curly maple or curly, walnut.
Well,
yeah.
cherry would be the yellow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
that-
time.
That's like
now-
actually. So have you ever seen the stuff? I think Daltile makes it. It's tile that's actually looks like hardwood.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
ceramic
Yes.
tile.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
They
I-
use a
we have it in our
what would
bathroom.
be,
a similar process. Yeah.
You know what would be a cool Huforge print is Han Solo and Carbonite.
Right. It's been done.
Yeah.
Ian does it. That's on printables.
I'm gonna have to go look that up. I just thought of that. I was like, I bet that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Ian did that over the summer before. Maybe right before Huforge was actually released.
So I want to see a fully animated short film that's done frame by frame with Huforge prints.
It's doable. It takes some time, but it's
Yeah.
doable.
That would take forever.
You want to do it, Mitch? Have fun.
Sure, I will get thousands of kilograms of filament donated to me, and
There you go. I mean, someone will send it to you.
Mitch, that was
I
the first time I did it on Fusion.
So you're just
Here.
using the 2D profile. I think there's like a whole nother
Yeah.
process.
I put the
for,
link
2D.
Ian in private
Because
chat.
you can do water jet and laser with
Cool. I'll check that out.
the post processors, I think too. So the Wazer is really cool. I don't know if you ever used the Wazer. It's a small desktop water jet, and it uses way more. It's really slow, and it uses a ton of garnet, because it's only at like I think like pressure washer pressure is like 3,500 psi.
Mhm.
But it's really cool because I helped. We had it at the makerspace, and I helped a friend cut stained glass because he does stained glass, and you can do some like impossible stained glass cuts, like letters and stuff with
that you
interiors.
wouldn't possibly be able to
You know,
do.
the first time I actually saw a water jet was like on American Chopper.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I love old
Yeah.
American Chopper.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that was literally the first time I ever saw.
You
a
ever
water
watch
jet.
it now, and it's like after you've already kind of been, if you've ever done any fabrication, you watch it now, and you're like, oh my god, like
Oh, they
it's
put
cool.
It's like amateur
it's cool,
stuff.
but you can
Yeah,
tell
no.
you can tell they're just doing like hacky, like
Oh,
get it
watching
done.
Vinny
Oh,
because I
yeah.
love wiring. Okay, watching him
Yeah.
solder, I would just like
Just
literally
globs of
freak
solder
out.
on- and they're soldering
like-
on the bike. They probably cut the wires way too short, so they don't give themselves any
I
slack.
mean,
And they're
seeing
trying
the
to like
blobs of solder, I'm like, oh my god, Vinny, you learn how to
they
solder.
that was probably before they had like Wagos like were popular, so
Mhm.
you can't. Well, you still wouldn't even want to do that, but like, or those heat shrink splices.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, those are. I don't use them.
I
But
don't like
I'm
those
also
either, but-
certified at soldering, so I used to
Yeah.
teach it. So you
Yeah.
know, I'm
But it is kind of
I'm
funny
with
when
you
you watch
there.
that stuff
I used to teach it also. It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
It's
now that
such
they
a
do
small world,
manufacturing,
guys.
yeah.
Mhm.
Now that they do manufacturing, I go watch. If you watch how it's made, and then you're like, every machine, I'm like, must be a nightmare to maintain. That must be a nightmare to maintain. Who's going to be cleaning that stuff? Because you could see they clean it up and make it look nice, but
Oh
you
yeah.
can tell like the machines are just like piles of ink and goo and stuff that like falls off the conveyor belt, and like they don't show the like conveyor belts catching on fire and
Yeah.
all the stuff.
No,
that
that's
happens
for
in actual
that's for
production.
Mike Rowe to come in and do the dirty
Oh, yeah,
jobs part of it.
Even
Yeah,
Dirty
back it
Jobs
up.
is like Dirty Jobs is kind of cleaned up too. Like
It's
they
gotta
don't really
be.
show-
Seriously.
They don't show the real stuff. Yeah.
But they're fun to watch, and the how it's made, Mitch. I mean, true. What's cool is to be able to see something and know exactly how it works, and it's still fun to watch it.
It also got
I
me.
sleep
It
to
got
how
me
it's
into.
made.
It kind of got me into manufacturing, like interested in manufacturing as a career
I
path,
think it
so-
did with a lot of people.
Mm.
Oh,
When
yeah.
it came out, that's
Yeah.
what I've done most of my life. So
Yeah.
to
That and
actually
Mythbusters.
see it, I'd go, that's what I've been talking about. That's how that works. I've tried to explain this to y'all. You know, I mean, that type
Yeah.
of a deal. So
And
it was
BattleBots
nice
too.
for that show to
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah, Robot Wars and stuff. That
Yeah.
keeps-
So when I
that's
one of
cool.
my second like I don't know, one of my first 10 videos was doing soldering, right?
Oh.
So you can see how nice and neat everything is, and then like the back.
That's really transparent. Did you make your own board or?
No, it was a kit.
The-
I wasn't going to. It's just
Like a
teaching how to
really-
solder.
Yeah.
And the thing is when the solder should wick up the sides, right?
Mhm.
It shouldn't be when people were like, "Oh, it's a ball." Oh my
Yeah,
god! I
falling.
was at Motorola. I got into arguments about it. I'm like, no, and then I like had to prove to them. I had engineers on the floor. I'm like, okay, take a board off of assembly line, right? Because it was done, from a solder Sensby machine, a wave flow solder. Tell me how that looks. Yeah, it doesn't have balls on it. So
That's right.
And then you like when I first realized that there's temperature, like you can control temperature on a soldering iron,
yeah.
and like you're not supposed to like cook your lift traces. And
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin, zoom in on this real quick.
But then the
Yeah,
opposite is
right
true.
now,
It's like
man.
I would do like big solder pads and then realize you need like a more powerful soldering iron because you'll just cold
And
solder.
a
Oh, yeah,
wider
you'll
tip.
cold solder. I think you did a great job. I think it looks fun.
Oh yeah, I mean it's and it's just not, it's not with like a Metcal soldering iron.
Yeah.
It's just with the Radio Shack one that I've had for 20 years. But
Yeah,
I mean it's
that's what I use.
just
Although-
everything looks lined up and looks fine. Oh, and then Let's see if I can find this other board here real quick.
Getting a Hacko is like a game changer.
I have a Hacko. It's insane.
Yeah,
I love it.
going from
I'm
like
actually thinking about getting that new press thing.
you can build one.
I'll just stick with my old Wellers, dude. I love them.
Wellers are good. Nothing wrong with the
Yeah, I
Weller.
think so.
Have you ever used the propane ones?
Yeah, I
those
love
things
mine.
are
I carry
very,
one in my
I've never
toolkit.
seen a propane
Those
one.
are very
I've got some
inconsistent.
butane ones though.
The butane. That's what I mean.
Butane. Yeah, I knew what you were talking about, Mitch. Yeah, I've got one that stays in my toolkit with my tools in my car, just for quick patches, whatever.
The Radio
Hold
Shack
on a
one.
minute.
It work.
How about thermite welding? I'm just kidding.
Well,
Thermite.
that's just fun.
I
That's just-
live next to train tracks, so I see them
Yeah.
sometimes.
That's
doing
right.
that. Yeah, you can't even see some of these.
Oh my god, that's tight.
Did you flow solder that?
Are these actual boards or are they stuff that just?
There's training boards.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right here. Look at
Is
it
it
on that side.
201.
Yeah. So
You can do that by hand, right? Is that
Yeah, by hand. I used to.
Yeah, you can do that. Man.
Yeah, so I used to use microscopes to solder.
Yeah.
So I was using a cheap microscope, and then of course the tips were not nearly as good as like the Metcal soldering irons I was used to.
Yeah, Metcals are crazy.
So but hey, I mean it still worked. It just wasn't. It's amazing when you have the correct equipment. You know, I got this also this.
So the Metcals don't have a temperature control. They
No. They depends which version you have.
Yeah.
Because what they have is a ton of tips, right? That you could take,
and the tips are kind of rated for different jobs, right?
Yeah, so you could take off something like that easily.
Yeah.
So you can take off a
They also heat up like instantly too.
Yeah. Instant. So when Motorola was shutting down, people asked if they could take the Metcals with, and they said no.
Oh. and then Motorola probably just threw them in the dumpster.
Oh, that's probably what really happened.
Probably.
So,
Yeah.
They needed to follow the Johnny Cash song. Got it 1, 2, 3 times, and it cost
There you
me
go.
a dime.
So we were just talking about with the 3D printed cars that I was gonna.
They just need to sneak it out in their big lunchbox.
oh, so I have
the
this.
whole bunker.
Yeah.
It's not buried over here, but
Maybe that's how I'm gonna get a car. Is just work at a car factory.
I have a
It's just
rework
still
station
one
right
part
there.
a day.
Yeah.
So it drives me nuts watching Louis Rosman remove parts, and he's just torching the board. So,
I thought he's good.
well, no, this was at the beginning when he was
Okay,
first
yeah.
doing it. Mr. Flux, and then one thing I can't stand is
Yeah.
people just doing a heat gun on the surface mount, right, and not realizing that it needs to be heated gradually
From the bottom, yeah.
and the top, both gradual to temperature. That's what this rework station I have. Well, I could set programs for different layers, and that's another thing is how many layers does the board have? That determines how.
And
how
the ground
hot it can
the
go.
ground planes will
Yeah.
dissipate heat too.
Yes, they will. They'll pull it and they'll drag it across. In a pinch, I used to do a lot of soldering, 600-700 connections a day,
Mhm.
and I went through soldering irons pretty quickly. I just burned them up. I mean, they're low duty. And in a pinch, man, I have heated up a flathead screwdriver with a lighter and finished a solder.
Jeez.
Sometimes you just gotta make
If you
it
were
happen.
doing that many a day, like why didn't you just invest in a flow soldering or
This was on site, and I was
Oh.
doing D9 connectors for computers in a bowling center.
oh my god.
It was all wires were run. There were pigtails hanging down, and I came in and did the connections.
This
And
is why we invented like crimp connections.
Man. Once I
or
learned how to use a
IDC
Molex,
connections where it just IDC ribbon cables and
I got with Molex and changed my life, dude. My vision was saved. I got
Except for
to
crimp, when you try to crimp stuff in the field with the crappy tools like I was, then it's just as bad.
Well, that's undependable at that point.
Yeah.
There's two things that can
Oh,
save
it's
you a
Aaron.
massive
Aaron?
amount of time. They go having the right tool and having a quality tool.
Yep.
And
go,
knowing how to
if
use
you-
it. You're leaving that part
right.
out.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
Okay,
no, no,
three
no. If you
things.
have a great tool, it'll do great work for you, regardless of how you use it, right?
I disagree. I've had technicians. I've had to just.
These are my
I
good
wanted to
tools.
beat the
Just
crap
the
out of.
$10 ones. From
I
There
am
you
not
go.
being serious.
Let me tell you, my East Wing hammer makes a terrible Phillips screwdriver.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
I
this
will
is
say,
my
though,
this
that
is my
my-
$70 hammer. I just kind of.
I will say that my Buck Brothers chisels are really great. I don't give a damn tools for all kinds of stuff, though. My $4.50 set of 3 chisels,
Yeah.
that I got a long
yeah.
time ago. They're sharp though.
I don't know.
They are sharp.
As long as you got a grinder, you can make anything you need out of those.
Yeah.
No, I have these.
Harbor Freight's pretty awesome though. I kind of.
Dude, I'm not gonna knock them down. I buy a lot of crap from Harbor Freight, and it's
I
not
You
have-
gotta
crap.
know. You gotta know what you're buying too.
You're
this
absolutely right, Mitch. Absolutely.
What is
This is one of
that?
my earlier functional 3D prints I tried to sell, and it was too expensive to produce.
Wait, what is it?
So those cheap $20 diamond sharpening plates? You can get them in 3 to 4 grits.
Yeah.
They just need a backer to make them stiff. So I made a case. It was parametric. It stores up to 4. You can store up to 5 or 6. Snaps one in the top, and then it goes in a tray. And then I think it's around here. So you put it in this tray, and then I think it's around here. I have a sled. Yeah. I have a sled that goes on it. And then you can put your chisel. And then I actually had tops that set at 25 or 30 degrees. And then it had an extension. And then you put your chisel or plane iron on it and go back and forth. And it sharpens you quite nicely, actually. They're really quite good. But they're great for my chisels and my plane irons. But I needed $70 for the set or $80 for the set to make sense, and wasn't getting very many takers.
Well, there's always that other way out. Post the designs and sell them for a few dollars.
Yeah, and I've
print
considered
their
doing that. Yeah, so I have like this one's the high grit ones, so they're bigger and thicker, and then I just made they're parametric, so you can do whatever you want. Yeah, I might actually do that, and actually, so like I've been working on the lithophane video. Because people want how do you do lithophanes in HueForge, and I've been working on that video, and I actually have a parametric frame as well for displaying them. And I actually was like, you know what? I think when I release that video, I should release the cleaned up version of that frame file for sale, for a few bucks on my site as well.
Why not, dude? You never know what's going to take off. That might be the big hit. You just don't know.
You've seen these. This is my frame.
Did you expect HueForge to be as popular as it is?
Oh no!
Oh, okay.
No.
Good.
I expected. Well, I expected. So originally, it was the color lithophane builder. I mean, that's what I was originally making, and I was expecting to sell, a few $100 worth a month, maybe $1,000 a month would have been amazing. Pay for my kids swimming, and then have a little bit of money left over, maybe. Actually, it wouldn't have paid for my kids swimming and had money left over. It would have taken a dent out of my kids swimming. Swimming is expensive. I don't know if you know that.
Just get a
it's
bathtub and
free.
throw them in there.
How do you? Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you get the water?
They're competitive swimmers, so
okay.
11 months a year swimming plus summer plus travel
and
plus
I was there. I was swimming and diving, and I loved it. But it's not cheap. You're right.
I was able to write a check at the beginning of the year and say, I am not worrying about this for the rest of the year. Wow. And it was amazing.
That's awesome.
But then when I started doing the frontlit stuff, that's when I started, and especially when I started doing like the frontlit stuff that was a little bit more functional, like dungeon tile kind of stuff, like rock effect and the chessboards and stuff. I started saying, oh, this actually might be really cool. But I still didn't expect. I thought, okay, maybe this is going to be bigger than the lithophane thing, but I didn't think this big. No, I mean the Polymaker Polymaker helping me start out
Oh, of
was
course.
just so big. That was still crazy. And he's still like, hey, can we offer that deal again for at least the regular buyers? And the issue, we mostly stopped it not because we had to stop it for the commercial licenses because it was too expensive for them, but we stopped it for the personal licenses, not because he said let's stop it, but because we both ran out of time. We were manually issuing all those coupons, and we just couldn't do it. So if we can come up with a non-manual way to do the coupon issue, because it has to be his coupons coming to me, being issued, for one user, all that kind of stuff, and kept track of. So, and he has to then get the email address so that it only works on that email address on his website. Like all that stuff had to go.
Well, doesn't Google already have those tools available? I think they're all free to help you do that.
Who?
Google, I think, has all those tools available and free to do certificates per email. That's how they do the Play Store.
That's how they do the what?
That's how the Play Store works. It's based off of your email.
Right, but you have to. So the issue is, I have to then take his coupon. So I have to take my Shopify store, take the order, feed it in. There's automations for it. It's just like I didn't have time to set them up. I was launching QForge. I was doing software. He's running,
gotcha.
Right. And I'm sure there's a tool to do it, but it has to say, okay, is this order from a country that he can do it in? Is it their first order? Is it of the right tier? That's relatively easy. And then here's the list of coupons that are valid for that, because there's Canadian coupons and U.S. coupons, because he does them differently based on what currency they're in. And then
that's
issue this coupon that is not going to be reused by anyone else. I
was being very short-sighted. I was thinking U.S. only, but if you're doing all that does sound like a pain in the ass.
So we were doing every night.
That's a real first world problem right there.
Mm-hmm.
Too busy to find the way to make your life less busy.
Right?
Well,
okay.
I was trying to release this software, and then this crazy guy from a filament company said, I want to make it free for everyone in the US and Canada.
Saint Nick over here with his Santa Claus
and I didn't say, hey, let me delay my release for a month while I figure out web front end stuff that I don't know and figure out how to do this automatedly. How about we do it? And also, I'm still thinking, okay, we're talking, not that many, a few hundred sales in a month. It won't be that bad. And there was a period there where we were running more than 100 a day.
Right.
And so I was like,
you were just like, what the hell, right?
Okay.
You know what? I hadn't kept up with you, so you're doing okay right now then. Yeah, it's doing all
right.
right.
He's doing horrible. He's doing absolutely horrible.
It's awful.
Yeah,
no,
thanks, Justin.
I
welcome.
Q4 has done very well for me. I'm doing well enough that I've hired an accountant who told me that you're going to have quite a tax bill, but you have the money for it. So basically around September, late August, early September, I said I need to work out the accountant stuff and like the tax stuff and everything. And so I'm just going to stop taking any money at all. Like the first thing I did when I started getting paid was I just paid off every debt we had except for the house. Like car paid off, credit cards, everything paid off except for the house. And we weren't as bad as, we didn't have tons, but we had a car, we had some other things. We had some, home repairs that had to put on credit cards. I totally get it, and I could see how it could have gotten out of hand really fast. Inflation wasn't helping. And so I paid that off. And then around late July or so, I said, I got to be careful because I'm going to owe taxes on all this. And I'd started the business and I was like, okay, I got to get contact. So I waited until I took my 3 weeks of unpaid leave from the office, from work. And first week I just contacted the accountant. I was already dealing with lawyers.
Oh, you're doing a full-time job too?
Yeah. This is a part-time. I'm doing 2 full-time jobs basically.
That's crazy.
So I got in with the accountant, and then I said, I just want to make sure I'm okay on taxes. And I basically just stopped taking it. He's like, well, you have to take a salary because of the company structure you're doing. So start taking a salary. This one I'm going to pay you, your payroll and everything, doing withholdings and all that kind of stuff. And then last week he's like, okay, this is what you're going to owe at the end of the year. I was like, okay. So that's
you don't have to charge sales tax for software, right?
I don't have to charge sales tax though. Shopify really thinks I do. I've been hesitant to turn on the Shopify taxing stuff because I'm pretty sure it's going to charge sales tax, even though in all the states that I've checked, there's like 10 states that are nexuses. So if your state doesn't charge sales tax, they're going to charge sales tax. But in all 10 of those states, custom non-packaged software does not get a sales tax. Yeah. So I'm like, and I'm really worried that if I turn it on, because I keep getting these little red flags, you owe sales tax, you owe sales tax. I'm like, no, I don't. And if I tell you to turn on, you're going to charge me sales tax. You're going to start charging people more money for it and charging sales tax. And then I'm going to be like, what do I do with this? You're paying it to the state. The states are going to be like, you think the states are going to send it back to me? I don't think the states are going to send it back to me. So
they're going to keep it. They're going to keep their mouth shut.
Right. So, I did pay my Virginia. My state does have personal income tax.
Yeah, state.
I don't live in Florida or Oregon or Delaware or whatever. So, the Delaware doesn't have corporate tax, right? Anyway, so
you should register through them, right? Through a different state.
Yeah, that's one I made.
Create an office.
Anyway, my accountant's like, you should pay your Virginia taxes now because then you can deduct them from your federal. Oh, get this. Okay. Okay. Knock on from the 2017 Tax Act. It turned software development labor into a capital expenditure that has to be amortized over 5 years.
Wow.
Interesting.
So my salary I'm paying myself for doing software development work is an amortized expense. So I only get to deduct a fifth of it from my income.
Jeez.
As a company. It's amazing.
That's going back into the company though, right?
Have a good night, Aaron.
No. So
we lost everybody with the tax talk. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
No, I just think it's nuts.
It just sounds crazy to me. Like they basically make it really hard to have a small business, is what you're saying.
Well, it's specifically software development. They basically are saying software development is investing in effectively the equivalent of a capital improvement for a company. And so we're going to tax it as a capital improvement, more or less. And so what it is not going back in the company. It's what's saying, so this company pays me a salary. I'm going to pay taxes on that salary.
Yeah.
But the company is also going to pay taxes on that salary because normally the company pays a salary that's an expense, right? And so it comes out of the company's profit. But in this case, only a fifth of it comes out of the company's profit this year, and next year another fifth. So if you have 5 years of backlog, right, then you're basically even. Say you're taking the same salary every year, then after 5 years you're basically even. But for the first 3-4 years, you're kind of hosed.
That's weird.
But I am serious. I haven't made a final decision, but I am pretty sure I'm going to be going full time next year, starting in January.
That's awesome. That would be cool.
I love hearing it, Steve. That's awesome, dude.
So does that mean are you thinking about more features or another lines of software?
Both.
Okay.
Both. It'll give me time for both.
That's awesome.
I have a laser for a reason, not just because I wanted a laser.
You just wanted a laser. You can tell that to your wife. You can't shade us on that.
Yeah.
What?
You're gonna give Lightburn a run for its money?
Right.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm going to compliment Lightburn, not
that's awesome.
With Lightburn.
That'd be amazing.
And
oh man, like colored acrylic that could layer on itself that you laser.
No, that it's not actually color side in this case. It's some other. I had some laser people contact me and say, "Hey, can you do this, and that?" I'm like, "Actually, yeah." And they're like, "That would be great," and we pay you money for that. I was like, "Okay." I have another vendor who wants me to do some just coding work for him. That's similar but not directly related to U4. It would be a completely separate project, but that would be a service-based business, business to business. So that would be monthly income, guaranteed monthly income, more or less. So that would be awesome. And then also I have actually the original code base for HughForge was this silly collecting game I was trying to make like 10 or 15 years ago, where that was back in the day of like pocket frogs and pocket dragons and stuff. And I always hated that you had this limited set of things you could collect. And I wanted to have an infinite set of things to collect and actually have real rarity and scarcity and people who spent time having more, better things. And so I came up with a genetic algorithm to generate unique beetles, and made these 3D models of beetles out of this little bit of DNA. And
That's awesome.
I took the base
It's kind of like Spore.
code, graphics code, the base graphics code and shader code, and ripped out all the beetle stuff and turned it into HueForge. And I went back and like, someone being able to just generate their own 3D models that they could then put on their printer and print at any time, but by just pressing a button a bunch of times or letting it run for a while and taking the list. Oh, I like that one. That one's cool. Let me try that one out. I think that's a product.
You need to do.
No, that's totally
that would be magic. Like
Next-
if you built that into a slicer or something, or had a complement the slicer where
exactly
Next year on April 1st, you need to release an edition of HueForge that has the beetle stuff back in, and it randomly inserts 1 to 3 beetles into whatever design.
Well, so my forum jokingly calls it bug forge. And then I have one particular forum member that always says, no, that's what we call HueForge because it's so buggy. Which actually it's really not, but he's like, we're talking about HueForge now. But we're talking about, completely stupid, capricious use of it. But what if we made the DNA into NFBs, non-fungible bugs?
Right.
So actually, and it actually is kind of really what an NFT was supposed to be, which is the DNA portion of it isn't useful outside of the program, but in the program it's useful. It makes a model file. That model file is not encrypted. Anyone can share that, pass that, whatever, but you couldn't breed it with another bug and make a new combination. So actually, and then I thought, what if you had something like filament companies, like say Polymaker's Christmas pack? What if it came with a unique new feature that you couldn't get any other way? Like spiky bugs. You could only get spiky bugs if you bought the Christmas pack or something, something like that. Or you can only get a snowflake pattern on the shell if you got the Christmas pack from them, and they had the NFB for that, and they could just, mint them and send them out to you if you bought their pack. And then that would be the only way to get it. So that was kind of...
Well, lots of people do that. That works.
But the idea would be that you don't need to do that. None of it's required, but if you wanted to go down that path and do that, you could.
Well, sure.
And it would handle the whole crypto part of it for me, more or less.
It'd be cool.
I'd rather be
for April
I'm out of
Fools.
here, so you guys have one.
Yeah.
We're going to be ending here shortly anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out.
What?
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
No problem. So it wasn't your first silver customer?
My first silver, yes, was you.
All right.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. If
Yep.
only that was a silver play button.
That reminds me. Hey, Dwight, Justin tried to leave us out of Remerve this
Yeah,
year.
I tried to. Sorry.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
Well, you guys have a bronze.
What? I don't even know what that means. I guess that's good. I guess I don't know what it means.
A reserved maker table that you guys get to pick ahead of the event.
Awesome.
Sweet. You
Can
become
I have
my
copper?
12th
Can I have
favorite
copper?
person right now.
Can I have lead? I want the
Yeah.
lead sponsorship.
Yeah,
Like
lead.
$10, it just gives you the worst table at the event.
Yep. Oh no, that's
On
the
Monday.
table that's on the roof outside.
Okay.
On Monday, Justin sent out the email for people to do the sponsored tables for Rocky Mountain. He forgot to send it to us.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
No,
You
you're
suck,
good.
Justin.
I know. Well, the
There you go.
platinums went in 30 minutes.
Hey,
which
can
is
y'all guys?
wild.
I don't know if y'all can see that in the camera. Does that work in the
No,
camera?
sort of. It looks sort of
I
like a
can
tree.
see a phone.
There we go.
Okay, there. Now I can see it. It was really nice
Ian,
talking to you.
See you later, guys.
all right,
I'm trying
guys.
to fall asleep, so that looks cool, though. By the way,
What? I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? Oh,
There was
Ian.
a train?
Yeah, there was a train. It's running over me right
Which
now.
direction was it going? Yeah.
It hit me in the ass and ran right over my head. Ian, how far are you to be back up in operation?
Never.
What part of the operation?
Printers.
Wait,
I was going to get the printer set up over the next week here.
Okay, man.
You need beehive pieces?
I can't handle all the crap I've got coming in right now. I need to spill some work towards you. So that what I just showed you on my phone was what's that? What'd you say, Mitch?
Justin's taking commissions. He's always
about me too.
he's always a sucker for taking on commissions that probably aren't worth it to him.
Well, you know what, Justin? It's actually I might if this keeps rolling the way it's rolling, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll to the people I know. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
So, but this here is
right now.
this here is a little specialty job. The one I was telling you about, Ian, that the tree, and they want the leaves and their grandkids' names on it. So these are all the samples I've already printed out for her to approve. I got to meet with her tomorrow or the next day. I don't know when I'm going to have time. I told her the next couple of days.
I think that's more of a laser cutting project.
I'm already done with the tree. I need to do the leaves now. That's it. And those can be 3D printed. I think there are 7 of them. That's it.
Okay. Well, that's like a day's worth of work on your Ender 3. If that.
I don't have time. I don't have time, dude. I barely had time to jump onto this thing tonight. I've been slammed all day. So
I can do it. I think we're gonna end here shortly. I gotta go to bed and go to work tomorrow.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I got meetings tomorrow too.
Huh? Hold on,
Yeah,
I can do
tomorrow,
it.
too.
You're going soft.
Anyway,
I got quiet.
it's been too long. It has been too long since I've done that.
Man, I needed a good laugh, Justin. Thank you, dude. That was awesome.
Sorry,
I needed a good laugh. That was awesome. Oh man. Yeah, guys, it was good talking to y'all. I haven't talked to y'all in a while. So are we gonna do the Wednesday thing on a pretty regular basis?
We'll see. I was last week I was sick. The week before I was tired. So we'll see. It should go back to weekly, but next week, Thursday's Thanksgiving. So I don't know if they're
probably not.
I'm not even going to be in town, and I doubt I'm going to.
Yeah,
have
I won't be available next week.
There'll be one next week. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
I think what you should do next week is you should have the stream up, and all it is a camera view of one of those hand turkeys, construction paper hand turkeys, and that's just it. And it just sits there the whole time playing some
2
music.
hours of that.
2 hours of that, and maybe a fan blowing on it.
Actually,
so
we should all have the hand turkeys on our cameras, and so it's just our names, but it just has
hand turkeys.
So you got to run it for at least 3 hours.
Right. Yeah, that is too funny. All right, guys, y'all have a good night, man. I'm gonna bell too. Ian, I'll talk to you tomorrow because I need to get with you anyway. Justin, I need to get with you too. Probably, man, early next week. I have a little bit of time if we can just sit on the phone for a bit and kind of chat.
Yeah, I work Monday to Wednesday and Friday and Saturday next week.
It'll probably be Sunday when I try to give you a shout. I'll text you before.
Text me before. I might be half asleep too. So, I'll be working on a printer. We'll see what happens.
Dude, I think there's a freaking conspiracy going on with John Deere tractors right now. I've had 3 starters go out on all the new tractors, all within a week's time period. That's all I've been doing lately is working on tractors.
Did they lock the
I seriously think it's a freaking conspiracy, man. I'm pulling a hippie move here. Huh? What's that?
You're going to have to hack the firmware because they're going to lock down. They're not going to let you service your own machine. And
well, there's certain things I can do on the John Deere that doesn't didn't piss anybody off at John Deere. Starter, oil change, filters for the fuel. Those are things we can do, but it's weird that they all went down at the same time, and one of them is only a year old. The other ones are 6-7 years old. I mean, come to expect it. But when the new one went down exactly the same way the other ones did, and they're all connected to John Deere Central GPS, we're going to fuck you whenever we can type of deal.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, do they have their telematic?
That's why you need a Kubota.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. So the right to work thing keeps coming up. Right to work on your own equipment thing keeps popping up right now with John Deere. And I seriously, dude, I mean, like I said, I'm pulling the hippie card right now, but it seems like a fucking conspiracy, man. So it's just weird. I mean, these starters are, God, they're about $400 a piece. I don't want to change these things out once a year.
Are they all?
And nor should you have to.
No,
Well,
I
is it a
shouldn't. And
conspiracy? Let's back up a second. Is it a conspiracy or is it another stolen recipe issue, like the old motherboard capacitors blowing up because someone stole 95% of the electrolytic capacitor recipe and didn't know it, and they got all the knockoff capacitors,
Oh,
and
is
then
that
they
what
started
happened?
blowing over.
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's why
remember
all the hard
that.
drives
It
were
did.
some Chinese company got 95% of the recipe, but they didn't get the whole thing, and it was enough to look like in their initial testing looked like the same thing.
Initially, yeah, it passed inspection, but it bailed when
And
he
then they
actually
all started
put it in
blowing.
reload. That's
and they all
right.
started blowing after some time period. So I like that. To me, that
Well-
seems more plausible. They got a supplier that's got a dodgy part that they didn't realize.
Well, see, about 5 years ago, all the John Deere, the 5 Series and larger, these are medium to large size tractors. These are good size tractors. They got rid of their own starters and they switched over to one of the Bosch Elites, which are actually a really good starter. They're heavy. They weigh about 5 to 8 pounds more than the stock starter. I mean, they're loaded with copper. They're heavy. It fits in the same format. But the fact they all went down the same time that the system did an update for the tractors, this is, but it does. I can bitch and complain all I want. Having the tractor down is just not acceptable. That goes to the top of the priority list. Cows got to be fed. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's it's not something you argue about. You just have to do it. You get it done.
Right.
And they're just expensive. They're also probably one of the
There's
more expensive
nothing cheap about them. Dude, I'm a
Anyway,
New Holland.
wait a minute.
I don't buy these John
If the
Deeres.
tractor-
I'm a New Holland fan.
If the tractors just did an update and then that happened, are you sure the starters are actually messed up and it's not just the computer thinks they're messed up?
Ian, I'll let you guys talk about that offline. I need to go to bed.
All right, Justin,
You
we'll talk
can
later.
let us-
Ian, we'll talk
You
about
can
it.
let us just have whatever conversation we want while you're gone,
Right.
right?
Sorry, I had to pull Ian.
I
out
like that
because
we
he was
have
talking
tractors and
over.
taxes. That's like
Yes,
this whole
tractors
series.
and taxes.
Two things.
Welcome,
Two
welcome
things are
to the
certain in
new
life.
America, huh?
Yeah,
Right.
two things that
Two
will
things-
screw you over.
Right.
Two things that
All
are
right,
certain in
guys.
life: tractors and taxes.
I do need to go to bed, guys. Thank you all,
All
for
right.
hanging out. It was awesome to have you guys. And Steve
you
will
for
be
having
in touch as things progress once we're ready to have you pick your booth. So
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
we don't do pre-arrange. We say you pick where you want to be based on the map we provide.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have a
'Cause, I mean,
lemonade stand outside.
That way, no one can say, "Well, I didn't want to be there." It's you picked it, you know. And
Was
that
I
also-
fairly early in the order
That's
of goals?
Ian
by the
calling
way?
me.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, you were
that's Ian
fairly early.
That's Ian
You
calling me
were-
on my phone. I guess. Did you
You
boot him
guys-
out?
Now we have
You
to
guys
meet.
are like the 9th
Hello.
down
Okay.
from the top, so
Hey.
that'll happen. You'll get a very good option for selection. Just depends on
Okay.
which hall and how prevalent you want to be, and
You
stuff.
get
Okay.
needed to.
So we'll email with the layout, and you'll get to pick on
Okay.
what's available at that point. So
Okay. Sounds good.
cool. All right,
Thank you.
all right, Mitch, we'll chat. Hopefully we can find your car. Steve, great to have you, and everyone
All
else. The 5 people we have watching.
Well, you just kicked 2 of them out, so
No, I didn't touch them. They left. So
okay.
yeah. Well, I got to get our marketing going on Eventbrite because it's not working. So
Yeah.
everyone have a great
All
night. Thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna hit end. It doesn't actually kick anyone out, but I'm gonna hit end. So everyone have a good night.